let me pick a Republican earmark, just so it doesn't come across as partisan. When I first started moving this bill a number of years ago, I watched a situation in which a U.S. Senator, Republican, decided to fund a rainforest museum to the tune of something like $50 million. And it got tucked into a bill, an appropriations bill that had nothing to do with that particular type of issue. It got put in the conference report. Never got to see it or vote on it in the House or the Senate, and it became law. Now, what happens, obviously, around here is all these things get thrown in these bills at the end of the process, no scrutiny, and it's become a system that both parties have abused to load up these appropriation bills with lots of wasteful spending. Now, there are other authorization bills and other bills that do the same thing, but the power of this is the power of embarrassment and sunshine. This is not a tool that's going to balance the budget. This is not a tool that's going to save us, $1.6 trillion. This is a tool that's going to make that member of Congress think twice before trying to shove a $50 million rainforest museum into an omnibus appropriations bill into the heat, because they know if they can shove it in that appropriations bill, on it goes. If they know that there's a possibility that they might have to go to the floor of the House or the Senate and defend this proposal on its own merits, then they might think twice before submitting those spending proposals. So what I see this doing is bringing some more accountability to the process, some more transparency to the process, and embarrassing wasteful spending out of these bills in the first place. So it's the existence of this tool that probably has its best effects versus the actual use of the tool. That's point number one. Point number two is constitutionality, a very important point. I agreed with the Supreme Court in the ruling in 1996 because that line item veto, I believe, was unconstitutional. It did represent the legislative branch ceding its authority to the executive branch. That's why this is written, and it looks like you've written it pretty much the same way, the OMB plan, to make sure that that's not the case. And it's very important that we remember, this is not the president executing the spending decision. This is the Congress making the decision, executing the spending decision. The president can write a bill and send it to Congress any day he wants to right now. We used to give them fast track on trade agreements and many other things. This is no different than that, giving the president the ability and the power and the tool to take a piece of spending out, send it back, and then we, the legislative branch of government, make the final decision as to whether or not it is canceled or not. So I think it is very clearly constitutional. It very clearly keeps the prerogatives of the legislative branch intact. And what this effectively does is it just brings needed sunshine to the process, and it helps get at the culture of spending in Congress. I love Boys and Girls Clubs. My wife and I donate our private dollars to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Rock County and Janesville, Wisconsin. But we can't fund every good idea that's out there. If we keep trying to do that, we're going to accelerate the bankruptcy of this country, and the country's going bankrupt. That's an irrefutable point. So we need to change the culture of spending. And I would argue earmarks, as small as they are in the aggregate, have a huge impact on the culture of spending in this place. If we can't get the little spending right, we're not going to get the big spending right. And so this helps us shift the culture of spending so that we are focused on actually trimming the budget, living within our means, and making sure that we are scrutinizing the use of taxpayer dollars. And under the watch of both political parties, that has not been done lately. That's the point I'd make. Thank you.